What is up, YouTube? I am back with another Hot Topics Q&A. It is 8:30 in the morning, and I have one meal in my system. I am going to make 3 YouTube videos this morning, but here we go. It is Tuesday morning. It is leg day for me, so I am going to train with Andy. I am very, very excited about today. If you've been following on the channel, you've known that there have been some things that I've been going through between the injury a couple months ago and just feeling really off, and then kind of finding my fire again, and now I feel like I found it. I'm gonna make this into like an Instagram thing, but one of my clients asked me about like if I'm not competing and stuff like that, same person that had asked me that in the other Hot Topics, what's my why? And we started talking a little bit about like me in the gym and why. So like here's what, and I've talked about what my mission in life is. My mission in life is to teach people how to get out of their own way. But I know what I look like. And for years, I've struggled with, looking like this, but I don't coach people for bodybuilding shows. How do I, train the way that I train and have the physique that I want to have, but attract the kind of client that doesn't want this necessarily? I mean, I have a couple guys that want to get jacked, and a couple girls that even want to put on a little bit of size, but like 90% of my clientele and the people I want to work with are people that are unhealthy and trying to change the dynamic of their life. But my why is, when I had my nervous breakdown at the age of 23 years old, it was because I was trying to please everybody, right? I didn't become a personal trainer because I had 2 people in my life say they'd be embarrassed to admit that I was a personal trainer. And then when I got out of the hospital, I started realizing that I am not living my life for anybody else. At the end of the day, I got to pay my mortgage. I lay in that bed by myself, and I have to be okay with the choices that I made. So I'm trying to, yes, my goal is to try to get people to be healthier, get people off medication, get people to not be afraid to move. Maybe they have a disc herniation just like myself, but they're like so afraid to move. I made a comment to one of my other clients about people are in pain. No, they don't work out because they're in pain, but they're in pain because they don't work out. So, and I know it's like a catch-22, like where do you begin and all that other stuff, but ultimately it's going to be about trying to do your best to get out of your own way. But what I want to do is sorry, I have this thing that's like behind and the wind is blowing and it's going to, so I want people to not be afraid to be their best self. I want people to be happy. I want people to make choices in life based on truly bringing themselves peace. When you're healthy, you're peaceful. When you're in a good relationship with yourself or somebody else, you're peaceful. When you're doing a job that you love, you're peaceful. There's a lot of chatter when you are driving to a job that you can't stand. There's a lot of chatter when you're on your way from home from work, whether you like your job or not, to a relationship that just brings you massive drama. And there's a lot of chatter when you're, maybe trying to better yourself with your health and you have somebody else that lives with you that is not supporting your goals. And I want people to become the best version of themselves, healthier, off medication, moving better, all that other stuff, but also, choose to have a better life. There's a lot of choices that I've made in my life that at the end of the day, I'm no good to anybody else if I'm compromising my own happiness and my own peace. So I'm better to everybody else. I'm better for my kids. I'm better for my clients if I'm choosing to make myself happy. And I know that there might be some people out there that might choose to not want to work with me because maybe they're afraid of what I look like. Or, I've had women that have said, I don't want to look like you. And I'm like, don't worry about it. You're not going to. Like, I'm not going to train you to look like me. And it's a lot harder than it looks. I don't typically like to use this word, but like it's significantly easier to lose weight than it is to gain weight. And I just say that in reference to patience wise. I don't say that at all in reference to like the process is easier. It takes a lot more patience to put on weight than it does to take it off. So for example, and I've talked about this in videos, depending on how aggressive your goal is, you can lose anywhere from 8 to 20 pounds in your first month. On average, then 8 to 10 pounds every month after, right? And again, I say in your first month because usually the first week is a big number based on like getting rid of inflammation, water, all that other stuff. Bye, babe. I love you. Okay, did you get my text? Okay. I just dropped off my youngest son at his grandmother's house. That's my oldest son. He drives, so whatever. Okay, so we're talking about the process of losing weight and gaining weight, and it requires a lot more patience and people being afraid. Like, I don't want somebody to be afraid. Basically, the gist of it is I don't want people to be afraid to come to me because I'm a professional. I've been doing this for almost 25 years. I have a woman right now that I see on the computer that is in Italy. That has had nerve damage, massive surgeries, 74 years old, and I don't train her the same way that I train, my client Sam, that's 52 years old, that's been with me for a decade now, but that's in great shape for a 52-year-old. He's a broker, has 2 kids, and plays competitive softball, and he runs circles around some of the 20-year-olds that he plays with. So he's in insane shape. So I don't train him the same way that I train her. I even have, like, just to give you another, like, I have a 68-year-old client and very close to 74, but she doesn't have nearly some of the things that the 74-year-old client has. So I train them different. Then so I'm not going to go over my list of clients. If you would like to become one, fill out the information in the description, and then we can talk about what your goals are and how I can help. But again, I am not doing anybody any favors by, and I've thought about this for a really long time, like, do I atrophy myself? Do I make myself not look like this so I can cater to the clientele that I want to get? Or do I live my best life and be happy with who I am and what I look like and my why? I like this look. I like the way that I feel. I like being a woman that is stronger than most men. Forget about most women. I like having all the medical conditions. I like having all of the medical conditions that I have and being able to say, yeah, I do that, and yeah, I do that. Oh yeah, I do have a herniated disc. Oh, I do have Crohn's disease and colitis, and at one point I did have a hypothyroid. Never went on medication for it, and I got myself in normal levels, and I've helped multiple men and women get off thyroid medication, get off diabetes medication. Needless to say, my why is that I want people to live their best life in whatever little bubble that is. But health and fitness is 100% a huge part of that process. You can only live your best life if you are in, and I say it starts inside. Like, I had another one of my clients today that in her affirmations, she told me about a different size and blood work that she got. And I'm like, you know how much I love the fact that you're in a different size clothes. Your uniform is now smaller, but I'm more happy about the fact that you got your blood work back and your numbers are significantly better than the last time. That's the stuff that makes me happy, because the healthier you are inside, then the better you're going to perform outside, look on the outside, but then also this bleeds into life. So maybe there's a position she's going to be able to go after. Maybe there's an extra hour she's going to be able to run around with her kids because her endurance is better. Like, all that stuff matters. I did not plan on going off on a tangent. I planned on answering these questions. I did not screenshot a lot of them, but I'm just gonna go over some of the ones that I did get. Keep inspiring, that's all. Then, okay, hold on. Would I ever date an average Joe? I'm assuming that means like somebody that doesn't work out. And no, I wouldn't be able to. So like, even though they don't have to be a bodybuilder, like I've said that so many times, they can't not work out at all. They have to like live some kind of healthy lifestyle. What's the secret to growing your calves? Is it all genetics? Yes and no. I do believe a lot of people genetically have, well, not a lot of people, but when you have great calves, most of the time it is genetics. Sometimes it could be from running track in school when they were in high school. It's a cultural thing. Sometimes different cultures, they genetically just have better calves. But I also am a big fan of John Meadows, RIP. But he has talked about different ways to train your calves. And I will say that when I am diligent with it, I do notice a difference. My calves have grown a quarter of an inch. I am all about the big stretch and the full range of motion all the way up to point. And I don't go crazy on it. I don't like the standing ones because it puts, like, I don't know, a hack squat is totally different, putting pressure on my spine, a barbell, but for some reason, going heavy on the standing calf raise just hits a little different. So I like the seated one and I like the leg press, and then I superset them both with tibia raises, whether it's up against the wall or the actual machine. So I believe those two, and hitting them 3 days a week. Toes out, toes in, but that is the answer to that question. What's the difference between being a professional fitness coach and a fitness influencer? So I would say a fitness coach has some kind of backing to it, meaning like a certification or a degree or something. And they actually, I feel like I respect significantly more, than somebody that just works out a lot and is really good in front of the camera, really good with video editing. I'm not saying you can't be a good coach. Listen, I'm not trying to shit on anybody here, but I just believe if you're going to be training people, giving them nutrition tips or meal plans or anything, you should have some type of backing. So I believe that's the difference between an influencer that just wants to influence people because of, again, mostly videos and reels and stuff like that, as opposed to a coach that might not even have a social media. I know a lot of coaches that barely have social medias, and they are very successful coaches. They have degrees, certifications, and the backing to be able to build and support a brand and a clientele. That's my answer. I do believe you could be both. Yeah. Then, what's the strangest thing I've ever witnessed in the gym bathroom? A woman. Two things. Holy moly, I cannot believe I forgot about this. Two things. One was a woman wearing leggings, doing cardio, and of course, typically most people, they get like sweaty crotch. And she had her leg up, and one of the hair blowers, and in front of the hand drying thing, drying her crotch. Awkward to walk in on. But I think the weirdest thing for me was, I was a fitness manager at Bally's at the time, and I watched this woman go in and out of the locker room, and then out of curiosity, like, she would go on the pre-core and then she would go in the locker room, go on the pre-core, and I lie to you not, I walked in the locker room and she was all the way in the back. Then she opened up the locker and was eating Doritos and drinking soda, and then she took a few bits of it and then put it back. Oh my God. And then I just remembered this. I was at New York Sports Club, not a fitness manager. I was just a personal trainer. And in the front, like by the window, and then they would have the TVs, we had the recumbent bikes. And there was a guy that had a newspaper and a Dunkin' Donuts coffee, which whatever, and then a bag of a muffin. And he was eating the muffin out of the bag as he was riding the bike. I was like, the only other thing that he needs is like smoking a cigarette. So I think those were the three weirdest things that I've seen. What is your strongest value in life? Value you admire in others? I think like work ethic is something that's really important. I value my time with my kids. I value balance. So I'm going to say probably balance. So like, I will tell you, when I was a fitness manager, I had a meeting once with the district manager of all the fitness managers. And he made a comment to me and he asked me how everything was going. My ex-husband, at the time, we were both fitness managers. And he was asking me, oh, how are things with you and, whatever, my ex. And I said, oh my God, they're great. And then he's like, how's the baby? And we had Koa. And I said, great. And then he goes, you guys are both killing it. And it was one of the years that, like, Christian, my ex-husband, and I went back and forth. I would win for Fitness Manager of the Month. He would win it. I would win it. He would win it. And he goes, that's great. And he said, most people don't understand the dynamic of what makes you win in life. And I talked about this in a video before. And he said, if you have an A in your business and an F in your home life, you have an F in life. If you have an A in your home life and an F in business, you have an F in life. And he goes, you have to learn how to have an A in your home life. And let me just say, an A in your home life doesn't necessarily mean that you have a significant other. I, right now, am talking to somebody, but he doesn't live with me. I don't see him every day. But I would consider, like, I am basically single. I'm not married again. And I have an A in my home life because I take care of myself. I take care of my bills. I food prep for myself. I take care of my kids. So an A in home life doesn't necessarily only mean marriage and relationship. It means your home life. You laying down, you paying your bills, you sleeping peaceful at night. And then, obviously, work, you enjoying what you do and doing it well. And I think enjoying what you do comes first. Okay. Branch off fitness content. We should do advice videos. I feel like you'd kill it. Oh, that was nice. Okay, if you ever branched off on fitness content, I should do advice videos. So, out of curiosity, leave in the comments below. What do you think I should be giving advice on besides fitness? What would you like me to maybe talk more about? And I bet you no matter what you comment below, I'll find a way to throw fitness into it. And then I think that's it. So, I mean, I spent more time talking about what I didn't anticipate I was going to talk about and then answering the few little comments that people made. So, I hope you liked this video. I am going to go quickly take a shower and wash the chlorine off me. And then I'm going to do a try-on haul. And then I might do a meal plan because people have been asking me what I eat and I haven't done one in a while. But I might not do that today. And then I got to eat and get ready to head off to the gym. I got to put on one of my wigs. I don't know who I'm going to wear today. I think I might wear Tina with a hat because it's easy. I don't have to gel it to my head. Or Sasha because I might be feeling a little sassy. And that's it. So, leave your comments below, like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next video.